Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Dayo Samuel, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to build your confidence and spark it in others. I'm going to be using scientific means to help you build your confidence. So apart from the scientific medium that I'm going to use to explain how to build your confidence, I'm also going to practicalize it so that it becomes something you can do on a daily basis. And in case this is the first time you are joining me on this channel here, on this channel my mission is to help you lead your life and business in the direction that matters to you. So as we jump into this video, I want you to be aware that this is not replacing personal form of help. In fact, this video is just me helping you to learn the things that you can practice on your own. Now, if you want a more personal approach to any of these things that I'll be sharing in this video and with the previous video, you can always reach out and I can take you on as a client, as a private client. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's jump into this video. In my last video, I actually started this conversation. If you want to build confidence in yourself, you also need to understand how your brain works, because your brain kind of communicates with your body. I'm going to be walking you through these 8 basic boxes that I call mega dose. That is MEGADOSE. So let's start with the first one, which is M, melatonin. Melatonin is a chemical of deep, refreshing sleep. Let's move to E, endorphin, the pain-killing chemical responsible for masking pain and discomfort. For this third one, which is G, I'm going to read it from my book, which is GABA, the anti-anxiety chemical. Now, in this particular video, I'm going to continue from there and I'm going to bring it to an end so that you can also experience this firsthand. More importantly, to actually learn how you can scientifically spark confidence in yourself and to also spark it in others as well. So let's jump right into the video. Next on the list is A, which is adrenaline, the energy chemical. Adrenaline makes you more aware, makes you more alert, makes you more awake. It is this surge of energy that runs through your entire system. Perhaps sometimes when you are trying to go after your goal, sometimes when you are excited, sometimes when you are nervous, sometimes when you are pumped up. So that's how to identify a surge of adrenaline. Now, whenever you find yourself that your heart is beating very fast, that is a surge in adrenaline rush. In fact, there's something I call adrenaline junkie, which means that this person constantly operates with a lot of high energy. And an adrenaline rush comes in when you are faced with fearful situations or you are in a very high stressed environment. Now, while all of this sounds a little negative, how can you take advantage of this energy chemical in order to build confidence in yourself? It's simple. Sometimes when you feel like you are very low on your confidence level, a simple trigger of adrenaline can actually make you feel more confident, make you feel more energetic. And here's what I mean. When you find that your system is low on adrenaline rush, or you find yourself that you are feeling a lot less confident, you can actually start doing short breaths. And by short breaths, I'm referring to just making your breaths very, very short, like when you do it consistently enough, it triggers adrenaline rush within your system such that your body begins to feel more energized, and that begins to release this energy chemical within your body, and of course that increases your confidence. Next point is D, dopamine, the chemical of reward. I love this particular chemical in the sense that anytime you set a goal, anytime you have something you want to achieve, this neurochemical is released in your system and it gives you this sense of motivation, this sense of drive, this sense of I want to go after this thing. Case in point, let's say you're a guy and you see a lady that you like, a lady that's attractive to you. In the moment you have a conversation within your head, dopamine is released and it makes you want to feel like, okay, I should go get this lady. That's a practical example of dopamine. When you set a goal and you want to go after that goal, that's a surge of dopamine. Interestingly, a lot of people at the beginning of the year, they actually set goals. And what does that tell you? It means that when you had the surge of dopamine at the beginning of the year, you set the goal and you wanted to go after it, now is a perfect time to also consciously spark this surge of dopamine, this surge of drive, this surge of motivation within yourself to go after your goal. And here's the interesting part. Dopamine is more involved with the sense of motivation, with the sense of drive, with the sense of going after something than with the actual fulfillment of that thing itself. So if you want to have this surge of dopamine, increase in your dopamine levels and your drive to achieve your goal, bring back that goal in your front right now and say, okay, this goal, I want to go after you. And you'll find that somehow it kind of boosts your confidence, it kind of builds your confidence back. Moving on to O, oxytocin, the bonding chemical. Now, have you ever found yourself that you saw a pet or you saw a small baby and you go like, oh, that is a practical example of oxytocin. It is that chemical that is released in your brain that makes you feel bonded to something, that makes you feel compassionate towards something. Oxytocin is that neurochemical that has allowed us to become social creatures, in the sense that we can relate with others, we can get into their own shoes, we can look at the world through their own eyes. It is basically oxytocin, the bonding chemical that allows us to do that. Oxytocin has been associated with countless positive behaviors, such as the level of trust you have with somebody, generosity, sincerity, cooperation, and likability. So when somebody likes you, when you like somebody, that is some element of oxytocin there. And how does that impact your confidence, you may want to ask? Well, when you are in a relationship of trust, it's easy to have confidence, isn't it? When you're in a relationship where you know that this person has your interest at heart, or you have this person's interest at heart, it makes it easy for you to be more confident in that particular situation. And of course, since this is a social chemical, this is the chemical that makes us social creatures, it means that your relationships with people matter. Now, I know a lot of people will tell you that if something is not giving you positive vibes, you should walk away from that thing. But I'll say to you, if something is not giving you positive vibes, I think you need to work on that relationship. Now, working on that relationship may not involve the other person. It could be that you will be the only person who will choose to actually do something about the relationship. But it's totally up to you, whatever it is you want to do. But what I'm saying here is this. If you want to keep this compassionate chemical, this bonding chemical, oxytocin, flowing, get into relationships that allow you to actually be yourself, allow you to have this sense of trust, this sense of likability, this sense of I am connected with this person. Moving on to S, serotonin, the confidence chemical. Serotonin has been found to be the main neurotransmitter responsible for the feelings of happiness, relaxation, and self-confidence. It is believed that a low level of serotonin is partly responsible for the epidemic of depression and anxiety that is going on around right now. Serotonin is usually associated with brain function, with your mood, and mental well-being. So if you are in a good state mentally, you have serotonin to praise. But if you're in a bad state, whether you are in a bad mood, whether you're in a bad mental state, you have serotonin to blame. It has also been found that serotonin is associated with your level of hunger. And by that, I mean the level of hunger in your stomach. So if you are hungry, serotonin seems to be released. That is because while it's a neurotransmitter secreted by the brain, it also has a lot of connection with your gut, with your stomach. And that tells you that serotonin can be influenced. How? To increase serotonin in your system, challenge yourself regularly and pursue goals, pursue things that make sense to you, pursue things that matter to you, things that reinforce a sense of purpose, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of having a personal meaning in the world. Being able to say, I did this thing, matters more to your level of serotonin than just having a goal. So if you connect that with dopamine that I mentioned earlier on, you'll find out that what that does is that while dopamine is associated with the drive, the motivation to want to go after it, serotonin is associated with you going after it and actually doing it. So if you have set a goal for yourself this year, this is the time to actually go after those goals. Because when you do that, of course, serotonin is the confidence chemical, isn't it? Increases your confidence, increases your happiness, increases your relaxation, it increases your mental well-being, it even increases your brain function. Next point is E, endocannabinoids, the chemical of bliss. Now, in order to understand these endocannabinoids, I will have to break down the words into three. So you have endo, you have canna, and you have binoids. Now, the word canna in the middle comes from the word anna, which is a Sanskrit word for bliss. Now, a simple way to explain endocannabinoids to you, as I mentioned just now, is that endocannabinoids, the canna word is bliss, and the word bliss is associated with feelings of euphoria, feelings of excited happiness, excited internal happiness, this state where you get to where you feel totally in a different state entirely. A lot of people actually get that feeling from weeds, narcotics, drug use, and the likes. But this is where it gets interesting. Endocannabinoids are self-produced cannabis, that is just like weed. They are weed that are produced internally in your own system by doing certain activities. While you will have to take weed and smoke in order to excite yourself and have this sense of bliss, that is, this sense of bliss comes from outside in, endocannabinoids are created from inside out. So this is the reason why you have to have this touch within yourself in order to enjoy a lot of endocannabinoids. Another thing I want you to understand about endocannabinoids is that they act as trauma preventing or trauma protecting agents, in the sense that if you have actually had some traumatic experience in your life, when you have this surge of endocannabinoids in your system, it tends to numb the pain of that trauma and make you get into this sense, into this state of bliss, this state of euphoria. And I know you may want to ask right now that how does this chemical do that? Well, all it does is that it produces this sense of bliss in you and blocks the trauma from reaching your brain. That literally, it means that this neurochemical protects you from actually experiencing the pain all over again, or maybe to even experience the pain in the first time, and then releases this sense of happiness, this sense of bliss, this sense of euphoria in order to protect you from that trauma. Now, I know that you may want to ask right now that, oh, if this endocannabinoid is this powerful, how can you trigger it in your system? Well, here are a couple of activities you can do. What is one thing you can do that you have this sense of flow, like you are flowing, like you are just in another world, like you are in another realm? What is that activity that you can engage in? For some people, as I mentioned earlier on, it could be painting, it could be art, it could be anything pleasurable. But what is that activity that you can do that stems from within you, not from outside in? That is the difference here. Now, in my book, Limitless Courage and Confidence, I actually offer a couple of activities that you can engage in order to activate some of these neurochemicals that I've talked about: the melatonin, the endocannabinoids, the GABA, the adrenaline, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endocannabinoids I just mentioned here. Question of the day: which of these chemicals will you like to have triggered in your system? Comment down below and share that with me. I'll be glad to read from you. And more importantly, if this is your first time of coming over to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you can begin to lead your life and business in the direction that matters to you. I am Dayo Samuel, and I'll see you next time.